Here we are, we're calling the meeting to order. There we go. I guess we'll have an invitation if there's anyone out there. Public comment?
There is not yet. I mean, we're the only attendee.
Right. Well, then I guess we're good.
All right. The last minutes were from November 18th. Unless anyone had any last minute additions, I'll move to approve the minutes.
I'll second. Yeah. All in favor?
Right.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah. You're a good writer. I like your minutes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I wasn't there, so I can't comment on the content.
Well, let's just say I
Or
went over
just,
those, I watched that video several times to catch some stuff.
Yeah, good.
So I'm grateful for that.
Well, so you guys got anything for us?
Couple little things.
Yeah.
The police department got its new cruiser in, and it's a hybrid. So
Hey.
they got their first hybrid a few years back, and they've been lucky. They haven't really had issues with theirs. Some of the other towns did. And then the chief tried to bid or put out RFPs for hybrids the past couple years, and there weren't any available and stuff. But I guess Ford's kind of redesigned their hybrid cruiser, and they're more available now. And
Excellent.
put it out, and it was able to buy one. So
Great.
So that's the police department report.
Yeah.
Then we had the librarian come to us, and I don't know if you know the relationship with the librarian, but the town owns the building and leases it to the library for like $1 or something. And then we usually pay for capital improvements, but sometimes they'll come to us and say they want to pay for something. So they were having lights changed in the great room there. And then whoever was changing out the lights said, you probably need to start thinking about switching these out soon, because the wires are getting really brittle, and the fixtures at this point are their original to the library. So they're not LEDs or anything.
Right.
And so the librarian's gone out and got a couple quotes for replacements. And there's one, and it's from a firm that we usually use for the town work and stuff that's the most reasonable. It's basically 35 grand. So we've asked her to go talk to Efficiency Maine and see if there's any type of things to help fund it. But then once we get that answer, we're gonna bring it to the select board. It'll probably be mid-January or something. And the other thing with the library is we have a memorandum of understanding that says that we fund 85% of most of their budget. There's some things like actual book purchases that the Friends of the Library do, and that's what the book sales are for and stuff. But they have about 35,000 left from last year's funds that we gave them, that now that they've had their audit and it's officially left, they're gonna give back to the select board. So I think that'll be the impetus. The select board will say, okay, we can go ahead and do the project. So in sometime in January, I expect that we'll be bringing to the select board a proposal to replace the lights at the library with LEDs.
Excellent.
And stuff.
Like
So that's being worked on. And then Jeff and I met with Siemens. So we have, most of our maintenance work is done by a company called Titan Mechanical, but their rates have gone up quite a bit this year. So Jeff, and in full disclosure, my son is one of their maintenance techs. Wasn't actually before I came to work for the town. It just happened that they were saying, we can't find anyone. I'm like, oh, I've got a son that's a maritime grad, and so they ended up working out. But Jeff went out getting quotes for our work, and fee goes up 20%. You're like, we better check around and see if we can do better. And Jeff ended up finding it was still the most economical place for us to stick with Titan. But we got a quote back from Siemens, and we met with them, and one of the services they provide, they do like a lot of schools, and is they could help with our planning as far as go through our systems and help us write RFPs. Because our systems in this building are now starting to get to the point they're kind of long in the tooth. They still work fine and we're keeping them running, but
Sure.
just to plan for the future, we're thinking it might make sense. So we're evaluating that, and we may put a line like in the capital budget next year for some money that we could use for Siemens to help us do planning for our
So you-
systems and stuff. To try to find things
So
that
you-
would potentially energy efficient and save money and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So they would do an audit as a part of their program or something? Or-
Yeah, maybe you can elaborate on what we understood, but something that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can elaborate much. What I understood it to be was they, they have specialists that can come in, and I don't know if it would be a full audit, but they'll come in and evaluate the equipment and make recommendations based on what's out there. I think, it has to be the recommendation on what's available and what we have at the same time. It doesn't make any sense to rip everything out.
Right.
It's just, when you could just replace components, so.
Sure.
But they would look at all that, they would, I thought they said they had some funding avenues that they look at. Basically help us develop a plan that we could implement over whatever timeframe.
Yeah, but I mean, presumably they'd be providing you with return on investment,
Yeah.
for, different tactics and stuff.
Yeah, they have it's almost overwhelming, they have a lot of different options.
Yeah.
That, that you can go for, depending on, what you're doing and where in the, I guess where in the weather you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it looked like, it would be a good avenue for us, instead of trying to navigate it on our own.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're keeping the same company that's now doing,
Maintenance,
The
we keep the
maintenance.
same one because they've been the most efficient economically.
Still
Okay.
are, yeah.
But they don't have the same service that Siemens
Right,
would offer as far as
gotcha. Yeah.
looking at the big picture and here's what
Excellent.
you might want to do for a replacement system and why and all that
Right.
stuff.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of things changing. That's cool. Awesome.
And then the last piece is, it's not at the design phase yet, but just the community center committee is aware of the energy plan. And if it gets to the point of actually starting to design the building, the architects will be instructed to consider, is geothermal make sense, not what, maybe it adds $1 million to the cost and maybe people decide that they don't want to do it for that reason and stuff.
right,
But definitely all options will be considered. It's not just, let's just automatically go to natural gas or something like
okay,
that.
great.
And they'll think about the operating costs over the
Exactly.
lifetime of the
Yes,
Yeah.
building as part of that
Yeah.
planning.
yeah,
So it's, so that's all I got for update is kind of just let you know, we're keeping the energy plan in mind and looking for
Excellent.
ways to implement it.
yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know about all those things. On the Siemens, so the town would pay them some fee to help with coming up with the plan and preparing RFPs. Would they also then reply to RFPs and try to win the actual work too?
Yes, and what they've told us is if they get the contract, then we get refunded the cost that it did to draft the stuff. If they don't get the contract, then they get
Oh,
Well,
that's
that makes
interesting.
what it costs them to
That's
draft.
But yeah, what else is interesting about Siemens too, is they have such a broad outreach, they do a little bit of everything.
Mm,
And it sounded similar to buying bulk fuel, like the more that you did with them, the
Oh,
more
for sure.
affordable.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Or like
yeah,
insurance.
it's Something to keep in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get them on the hook. And, but I mean, when everything's spread out on the table and you paid them X number of dollars and it all adds up to the better
Right.
vendor, then what the heck?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think we're looking at, I won't say which vendor because we're being recorded. But there's one system we're not at all happy with the vendor right now. That's something they could do. So we're looking at kind of testing them out with potentially
Sure.
switching that system to Siemens and see how it goes.
that would make sense.
Thanks.
Cool.
Very good.
All right, old business, invasive species collaboration with Conservation Commission.
Yes, I finally managed to, first I got the name for the person, so I contacted them, and I had been, excuse me. I just just do it. I don't know where you put it up. Anyway, I had a very nice email exchange with the woman whose name just left my head, and who's the head of the Conservation Commission. She said that she thinks they'd be very interested in collaborating with us on not just an invasive plants program, but also that they're working on the national area, natural areas plan,
Yep.
sorry. And they are going to be wanting to do outreach with that, and she thinks there's definitely opportunities there for us to collaborate. Sounds great. And but their next meeting is January 5th. So I will hear back from her then, so I can give you but it sounds she sounded very enthusiastic about it. So that's good.
Okay, so the next step is to hear back from them further on what their plans are and how
Right,
we could collaborate.
yes. And I was thinking that it wouldn't hurt our cause at all if tonight, as we're talking about, education systems, that we decide ahead of time what we feel we could add to that, what we'd be willing to do, like getting the room, the place and that sort of thing. So that when she comes back to me saying, yes, we'd like to, so how do we start? I could say, well, we're willing to do this, this, and this. And, I've even started looking at who might be good speakers.
Makes sense. Okay, new business. So one item, additional resources added to our battery energy storage system materials. I got more materials from James City County, who did a special use permit process. So I think that was something that that was one avenue that we could consider. So just an example and practice that we can look at when we're reading through all the materials. And I just put it in the folder.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's pretty self-explanatory when everyone's going through all the resources.
Sure.
I know for next meeting, we're gonna talk about the best project, and we're all saying that we'll read through everything and come prepared with our top 3 most important items or questions or comments or whatever.
Right.
Is there anything else that we want to talk about on the best topic this meeting?
I'll add in, I keep getting stuff on my feed from places that are using these sodium ion batteries
Yes.
for starting for this. So I'll upload some of those so they're there to look at too.
Cool.
And we do have a copy of 855. From that big, it's only available hard copy right now, so it's in my office if anybody
Okay.
wants to go look through it. Or
I'll
take it,
focus on being your secretary.
take it, bring it back, whatever works best for people.
So you've read it cover to cover.
Cover to cover, yeah. Very quick reader.
It's good thing you're a speed reader, right?
Yeah.
Reading code stuff is an art of itself anyway.
Oh
If anybody hasn't read code stuff, it's a good cure for insomnia.
Yeah, for sure. I had I just randomly ran into Rod Melanson and Andrew Carl from Revision Energy. And we were just talking about the battery energy storage thing, because Andrew's like the battery guy at Revision. Have you been in touch with you?
No.
Well, anyway, yeah, he's pretty knowledgeable, and he's actually somebody who I think would be a good speaker, for our educational session if we want to bring this, battery thing, up there. But we were talking about how this is almost like a cold case at this point, because they haven't been back in touch or anything
Right.
that we know of. But he was also talking about how Topsham is really, especially, over in Bisson's area, is really a crossroads for, it's the right location. There's lots of other right locations, but he was saying it's typical for them to just cast 100 lines. But that if it's not them, it's gonna be, it very well could be somebody else. So it just let me, a little bit of cheer that, we might be
It's worthwhile working
headed
on
in
it.
the right direction.
Yeah.
That it might take 2 years, it might take 5 years, it might take 10 years, but at some point, this will be a thing. Yeah, anyway, that's it.
I was looking at the Gardner meeting notes for their city managers meeting with tomorrow night. And interestingly, they've got some battery storage stuff on their
Interesting.
agenda. So I don't know
Being
if they've been
coordinated.
approached by someone too, or
Yeah.
some ordinance stuff to make
Yeah.
some changes to that.
Right. Right, yeah. Well, hopefully there won't be 1,000 towns that do this for 10 projects, and
Right.
909 of them spend their time.
Like you said, though, I think this is a pretty critical area by the Bisson Farm that at some point, someone's gonna be interested in it. I think we make if we build it, they will come. I think.
Well, I
Not
think
build
so
it,
too.
but make it so.
We make it possible, yeah.
Yeah.
And really, in terms of like the local, maybe I'll just call it the local culture, business is important.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
anything that, that keeps that, an intact farm and keeps them going is greatly to the benefit of the town. So,
Right.
there's double incentives,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question, and we're on, are we on new business or still talking?
We're
We're
on
on
new
new.
business.
That if it looks like, we are beginning to work on the ordinance piece of it so that we'll be ready, right? I'm thinking that it's still, even if we don't have anybody ready to jump in, that it still would be really good to have some kind of educational system, session, because the community is going to be hearing
And
about it.
voting on,
And, yeah. So-
voting on it.
Yeah, so,
And
and eventually, probably not this year, but just to, introduce the idea, this is what they do, there's this way to do this, and I think having someone who really knows
Yeah.
what they're doing. But going back to the person that you talked about last week, and again, I'm sorry, my name, Kurt.
Kurt
thank you.
Mayland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we still considering having him come talk just
Yeah.
at the select board?
Well, I think last time we talked about him coming and talking to the select board, the planning board and the energy committee
Yes.
in kind of one session, once we had a draft ordinance and everyone had a chance to look at it and have some of those really detailed, specific questions,
Right,
having someone like Kurt there to provide his experience and guidance and everything and
Right.
advice would be really good.
Yeah.
But I think we also mentioned, we also want to invite him to talk at a public
mhm,
event where it's more of a community education thing.
mhm.
I feel comfortable asking him for both.
Both.
I got the sense that he was very happy to help out.
Mhm.
Can't hurt to ask.
Generous soul, that's good.
Yeah.
But I haven't reached out to him. I wanted to wait until we kind of decided exactly what scope we're asking of him, and then I can
Right.
clearly send him an email
Right.
and
Yeah.
get that in motion, and then also talk about timing. I know we had talked about after this year, but if we can today maybe align on when we think would be the right timing, I can send an email off to him.
Right,
And then I think the other thing is in person versus virtual.
right,
He offered to come in person. I don't know that he would come twice in person, but
right.
which one of those would we want to have him in person
Right.
for? Would be good to know.
Hmm.
So, now that we're talking about that, do we want to make those determinations?
Sure. One other thing I was gonna say about Andrew, is I got in touch with him because, I was, investigating whether there was a cost-effective solution for batteries over at Morningstar, because we've got a big solar array.
Right.
It turns out our solar array is too effective, so the payback on the battery is 14 years. But his general business is going around and working with businesses that are running three-phase power and have significant spikes in their demand, and saving people money. So regardless of the broader thing, which is the battery energy storage system for Topsham, there's also lots of other opportunities in town. It's good for the internet, but I mean, not the internet, it's good for the grid, but it's also something that potentially businesses will be able to save money doing. So there's another strengthening factor. So I think he's I love the idea of Kurt coming too, and I think Andrew's a great, I was pretty impressed talking to him. He's a good speaker too.
Yeah, for the more community education, I think it could be cool to have, hey,
Panel.
residential, commercial, and grid scale.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kind of talk about the whole gamut
Right.
of these different
Mhm.
scale projects and what they're trying to do, how they are helping the hosts, the property hosts, and how they're also interacting with the grid, and just sort of lay out the whole scope.
Mm.
And maybe we have Kurt talk more about the grid scale stuff, and the revision guy talk more about the residential and small business
Yeah.
scope stuff.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
sounds very
Because
good.
I don't think that it, right off the bat, it doesn't make a lot of sense to people. How could you spend money on a battery and save money?
Yep.
So I mean, that's just gotta, that's gotta percolate slowly. A business is gonna understand, if there's a 4-year payback, I'm good. If
Right.
there's a 14-year payback, a lot of trouble, figuring that out. So, anyway.
So if we come to the meeting in January and we get everyone's ideas, what they think they want to have in ours, then I've got my marching order, and I'd probably try to bring Tom, Sky, Jeff to come to that meeting in January too. Then we've got our marching orders to go start writing stuff.
Right.
So maybe in February, you could have the session you envision for the public, anyone to come to
Yeah.
hire about why batteries of all these different types.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're working on drafting stuff. And then we use some appearance of Kurt in some sort, or maybe he gives us some comments on whatever we draft.
Yeah.
And then when it's time for us to present what we've drafted to the select board, planning board for the first view or something,
Yeah,
we combination of Kurt and the drafts.
I think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
I could see that working really well. So we think that might be in March timeframe?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we have our January plan
Mhm.
for our meeting.
Yep.
Then February would be a public education.
Yep.
Just on batteries.
Mhm.
And Nick, what's the revision guy's name again?
Andrew Carl K. There's an H in it somewhere. Anyway, Andrew Carl. I'll find it quickly.
Okay, so potentially Andrew, Carl, and Kurt doing the public education, and then in March, we would ask Kurt to review our first draft, and then have a session where we're kind of introducing the first draft to.
Right. So
everyone
maybe in
else.
March is just us with Kurt,
Yeah.
kind of going through the draft, and
Yeah.
maybe he may say, hey, you're kind of off on this. I
Right.
think we probably want a shot at as a group before we roll it
Yeah,
up to the
I
bigger
agree.
group.
Right. And that
The
certainly
bigger,
could be
you mean like
remote.
the select,
remote.
I mean,
Right,
the
select board, planning board, yeah.
planning board.
Yeah.
And that session with Kurt could easily be remote.
Yeah, he
Right.
could definitely call in
Right,
to
yeah.
one of our regular
Yeah.
meetings.
Sure.
And then, so maybe in April is when we would
Yep.
present to the select board
Mhm.
and planning board. And how much advance planning would putting a session like that together on people's schedules be?
Probably 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, so we look at what dates are open for the rooms and stuff, and their calendar. They're actually, right now, town meeting is scheduled to be May 13th. Pretty much planning board has to be done with anything they want to do by March, and then the select board, the first meeting in April sets the agenda for town meeting.
Right,
So we probably wouldn't make this year's town meeting, or at least the May one.
Yeah.
But we also maybe have a special one at some point, because the recode process is still ongoing.
that's right.
And if that's not ready for town meeting in May, then we would have a couple things potentially to have a special town meeting for. So
Right.
nothing says we can't do something in July, August, September, and whatever. We had a special town meeting a couple of years ago in November, so
Uh-huh.
that we could purchase the property beside the transfer station that was open.
Right.
I think make a zoning change, and make a tip for the affordable housing change. So we get 3
Yeah.
or 4 items. So
Mhm.
we're not limited to one town meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the attendance like for special town meetings?
The last special one we did in November, we had better attendance than at our regular one in May.
Yeah,
So I think,
Yeah, it depends on the topic,
Depends on
I
the-
Right.
suspect.
but it seemed to be our best attendance the past couple of years has been 80,
Mhm.
which is what we got in that special November one, and that's what we got this past May.
Right,
Mhm.
right,
We switched we were having them in the Orion, because we thought that way if 400 people show up, it's big enough to handle it.
Mm,
But we were getting complaints that when you have 50 people, it feels too spread out.
Yeah.
So we've done the last couple in the forum at the high school, it seats like 200.
Yeah.
And people have been happy with that.
Yeah.
So I guess unless we get a sense we're gonna have a ton of people, I think we'll probably keep doing it for.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when we think about the public education session on batteries, do we want to think a little bit more about the detail and what we're specifically gonna ask Andrew and Kurt to be prepared to discuss?
Well, with Andrew, I think I would go all ears with him first. Just tell him, look, we want to introduce this to the public and, try to hear what he had to say about that, because it's, kind of a broad subject. With knowing that we, we're trying to, educate on the, sort of the broad, all the way from a giant system to, a battery in your, along with your solar or something. So anyway, I'll talk to him about it, just see what he thinks, has been useful. I'm sure he's talked to groups before.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
My sister's electric utility in New Hampshire signed her up for some program where they put a battery in her house for outages.
Oh,
So
wow.
I guess current goes through her under the normal course of business.
Yeah.
And then if they have an outage, the battery can carry the house for some period of time.
Wow.
Green Mountain Power has a fabulous, really innovative. What they do is they'll put a battery in your house,
Mhm.
and you have to sign an agreement that says, when we need the battery, we will take over.
Oh, so they can avoid peak
So
days
you
and stuff.
get a peak,
Mm,
and, even if it's only for 5 minutes or something, they'll go on and they'll get these batteries
Yeah.
discharging, at peak time, and the utility saves way more than the cost of the batteries.
Mhm.
I'm sure. Mm,
But they have to be networked, so, requires a bigger decision than
mm,
public utility commission level decision. But yeah, it's pretty cost effective, can be.
Yeah, because I guess they figure their rates for ISO New England based on like your 10 highest usage days.
Yeah,
So if you can get your highest usage days down, there's a payoff in the rates that.
yeah, yeah. And that's how the big, that's how the best company makes their money is,
Mhm.
you know, buy low, sell high. Anyway, so I'll talk to Andrew, and, you know, I can let you know. What-
Yeah, and I guess I can do the same
he
thing,
says.
just say, you know, the audience is people.
Right, yeah,
Assume that people really don't know anything about
Right.
it, so it has to be at the right level of complexity for them to understand
Right.
the basics. And, you know,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be, you know, people are gonna be caring about safety
Yeah.
and noise and what do these things look like?
right.
And then what's the benefit of them? And just sort of those high level topics.
Right,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Andrew's not gonna be able to address the, you know, containerized 30-acre version.
Right.
Which is good, because then we'll have different people. addressing
Yeah.
different
yes,
things.
exactly.
But Kurt is familiar with that?
Yeah.
And, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good.
And then in terms of length of the session and location and day, just to kind of start thinking about those details.
Yeah.
So I can communicate that to Kurt.
Right. Library, I've enjoyed being in the library, using that library
It's a pretty good
space.
size.
It is, and they have the ability to do this, whatever.
To do a
Zoom
Zoom.
it.
Yeah, they have an owl. I've seen their owl, which allows people, you know, especially in February, you know, to not have to come out of their nice little snug house, but still learn something. And we need to do some publicity for it as well. Put it on town website.
And depending on what you think you might get for attendance, we've got the room downstairs too.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
It's up
Don
to
Russell Room has
65.
been
Right.
fine for,
Right,
you know, for our meetings this summer.
yeah,
And then if it's down there, we can plug into our normal systems.
yes.
And then record it too, so it's available for future.
That's
use.
right.
I
That's
think
right.
given the amount of people that I might guess we would get, I would
You would
favor
suggest,
doing it down there.
okay,
So, you know, you like to believe you get a whole lot of people, but
right, but the truth is,
Okay, and then what day?
well, what kind of days are better than other kinds of days?
We're looking to have it in February.
February, yeah.
There, I haven't come up with a budget schedule yet. I will in the next week or so, but we've had we had like maybe 6 meetings that get thrown in on top of everything else in February
mhm,
to early March that use the room downstairs, but let's look for the room.
I mean, we can ask at the library too. I don't know if the library is gonna be more difficult to get or not.
I think it usually is. I think there's more people that request
yeah,
that.
there are a lot of people using it.
Usually Thursday nights aren't good because either
Right.
the select board or the planning board is meeting on Thursday
Right.
night. So I don't think it's quite as bad as it looks in this stuff. Because in December is,
Yeah,
I don't know why we have every day blocked here.
They've been having a problem with the system. It like locks it in for days at a time.
Jesus, February.
Oh,
sorry.
man.
oh, God.
No, it's not.
I think it's safe to say that we're not gonna be, something here for the energy showed up Tuesday, January 20. Well, that would be a normal thing. Why
If
it
you-
shows up on the
Yeah, if you
6th.
look at it, they're gonna show, it's one meeting and it shows up every day. It just needs to be adjusted. That's the way it was
Okay.
entered, I think.
So maybe we look at the list on the right, does the right show it all?
Yeah,
in
the
this
right would be
form?
accurate.
Which does bring up a point, I think. Your next meeting, there are like 3 meetings at once. There's Topsham Housing Authority, I think, CPIC and you guys. So
Mhm.
unless we get some more members, what we may do is maybe even meet in the alcove out here.
Sure,
So
Sure.
put some tables up, so
Yep.
we'll figure that out, but
Right.
we can still meet, it's just we have to
Yep.
adjust the location. So in March, we've got I'll use you guys on Tuesday the 17th. I mean, if you wanted to use your regular meeting night. Oh, but we're looking at, or it's February is what we're
Yeah,
thinking right
right.
now.
February
So,
is-
yes. So let me go back to February. So right now you are on the books for Tuesday,
Tuesday,
February 17th
Right.
at 4:30.
Well, we'd be able to have this at like 6:30 or something like that, right?
Mhm.
I mean, does that sound good or?
Is
I
that
don't
school
know.
vacation week?
What time do people
I could,
show up to things?
I've seen it all over the place, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, for all kinds of meetings, and it boggles my mind because when do you guys eat?
Yeah, when you guys had the workshops for the climate action plan.
They were
Oh,
like, they were,
6:30 or 7. something
no,
like
they
that.
were, no, I thought
What?
they were earlier than that.
Oh, were they?
Seems like 6 or 6:30.
Yeah,
is
6
time.
was.
Just
like-
because on the other end, people don't want to stay till 9 at night.
Right.
Well, that, and, because then I remember we also provided some food, there were
Yeah.
sandwiches and sort of things, I'm not sure that much for.
I don't really think people come for the food though.
No,
People
no,
don't
no.
really eat the food.
I
feel
think
like.
I know. I was
People
gonna
might
say.
eat a cookie, but I don't know that people are eating sandwiches.
Right, and there were sandwiches, and I didn't see that many, and I
No.
think the idea was, in case these poor people don't have time to even
Mhm.
get supper,
Yeah.
getting home from work and
Yeah,
having to come straight to a meeting. For that reason, I think I would suggest 6:30 as the earliest to have a meeting, just so that people do have time.
yeah, like 6:30 to 8 or something. like
Yeah, right, and an hour and a half is about as long as
Yeah.
people's attention span.
Yeah, or like we try and get the speakers to commit to 45 minutes or an hour, and then there's
Yeah.
some time for questions
Right.
that you can use, or if you don't
Yeah.
end up using
Right.
it.
Right,
um,
people are usually not unhappy to go home early.
Yeah. Okay, so 6:30. And yeah, school vacation week, what week is?
So I'm looking at now, February 13th through 20th, 2026. So here's the week I would recommend,
Okay,
because I think a lot of the budget meetings are gonna be the first 2 weeks in February.
sure,
So if this is 13th through 20th,
so,
the 13th doesn't starts on a Friday. This is great, AI is wonderful.
So week of the 23rd.
So my
What
guess
you
is probably the
recommend.
real school vacation is this. So yeah, I'd recommend the week of the 23rd, because
right,
I can pretty much guarantee we won't have budget meetings that week, so we won't have extra ones for that.
okay.
See if there's anything here on Tuesday, the 24th, Wednesday, the 25th. Usually Wednesdays are pretty good meetings that we don't, the rooms are usually pretty open on Wednesday.
Mhm.
So I don't think I see, Jeff, I'm not doing this wrong, right? We have nothing past the 17th in
Nope.
February, it looks like.
Nope.
So you could either, if you wanted to do,
Sometime that week.
looks like the trail riders might be using the room on Monday, but if you want to do the 24th, 25th, and probably planning board would be the 26th, you probably wouldn't want to use that one. So I'd say either Tuesday, the 24th or Wednesday, the 25th. would be
Okay.
the- If you wanted to do it in February.
And it looks like all those extra entries on the left are this committee for some reason. So it's almost like you, let us know what you want first and then we'll delete the others.
Good point.
Okay, well, this will be helpful for reaching out to
Yes.
our
Yeah.
potential speakers with
Yeah.
more concrete timing. And then in terms of publicity, how far in advance do we need to be?
If you want us to, which we could do, feature something, whatever you come up with, in our prior ad, we need to have that before like January 20th. You know, ideally maybe like January 15th vicinity, and then Pam can work it into the ad. We usually have to get it to the printer around the 20th, and then it
Mhm.
comes out to everyone's home on February 1st. And proof that people read the crier was Linda Dumont's retirement reception, because we had phenomenal attendance for that. And a lot of
Okay.
people, that's how they found out about it, was the crier.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay, January 15th.
And Jeff put it on the sign too, out front things.
Right.
We'll hold off a few dogs and put it on.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a perk, if you want, when you register your dog, if you give us send us a digital photo, and then we put your dog up for a couple days on the sign.
Oh, how fun.
Aw,
I hadn't
that's cool.
noticed that. I've seen the shop tops of them and I like that. Okay, we'd be all set with equipment.
And then we have a mailing list from people that attended climate action plan
suppose.
events, right?
I don't know where it is, but
I don't know where that resides.
Okay.
I
We
didn't
can
know
see
there
about
was one.
Digging that up.
yeah, we can probably get some hot tips from Yvette on that.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
There's many things.
And would we need any kind of handout or?
Oh, I suppose we maybe get some thoughts on that from the speakers.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna wanna do a PowerPoint or just stand up and talk or
right,
whatever, so we can find out if they have materials to
Yeah.
start with.
right.
I think a lot of times now it's pretty popular to do the QR cards
Right,
and take you to somewhere with, maybe has the presentation that they can go back to. Or
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is, it's cool. Stuff.
We talked about doing, if we have three committees at once, we can divide the downstairs.
You can, you can,
Russell has that divider, so we'd take the back of it or the front of it or something. So we won't be in the hallway.
nice.
Okay, well, I think I have enough to reach out to Kurt
Yeah,
with, is there anything else around educational sessions for now? I feel like we have enough in motion.
we certainly have, enough to get us going on the best. I'd still kind of like to have some stuff to talk to the Conservation Commission about. One thought I had was that early May might be a good time to have a session on invasive plants since they're starting to pop up. Fall is also a good time, though, just for future reference. I've been doing a little research to find who we might bring in as a speaker. I know a lot about invasive plants. I've done the training for iPaint, but Andrew Tufts has a much bigger presence, shall we say. He works doing this stuff, so he would be, it might be a good possibility. And he works for Maine Audubon, and there are others. There are other organizations like that would, I'm sure, delighted to come and talk to us about invasive plants.
could be Margaret Gerber from Brunswick Topsham Land Trust.
Yep.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm
stewardship
connected.
over there,
Yeah, I'm connected with some people there. So
Yeah.
I can.
or, maybe even Steve Pelletier. He's
Don't know
another
him.
possibility.
Yeah. So.
I don't know what he is, he's everything.
He's our new chair of TDI.
What's that?
He's the new chair of TDI.
He is?
Yep.
Oh my
What's
God.
TDI?
Topsham
Steve
Development.
Topsham Development
Oh,
Incorporated. Yeah, I mean, he's an environmental engineer, I guess you would say.
okay.
Yeah, he's on the governor's committee
He's-
for something.
Mhm.
Sit on
Yeah.
the EDP and
Probably
all that
the, with the Maine won't wait then.
Will this be BYOB? Bring your own bittersweet.
stuff.
Don't even
That's
say
good.
that.
Don't get her going.
Don't. I've been clearing it on both sides of it.
I was gonna give you mine if you want.
Yeah.
I've learned that I know what bittersweet looks like in every stage. Even if it's a little teeny thing, you pull it up, it's got an orange root. Bittersweet.
You know, I've been trying to eradicate his Norway maples. So.
Yeah, and Bethel's Town Common is lined with them.
Mhm.
I threatened to go out with a weed whacker. And, you know, one at a time, so they only had to replace them one at a time.
I've got a chipper for my tractor. It likes to eat Norway maples. So it gives
Good.
me chippers for my trails.
Yeah. And for me, the sad thing is that our home in Massachusetts, we planted a Norway
Oh.
maple in the middle of the yard. Did not know.
People don't know that
They
one,
do.
you know.
Yeah, well, that's why I think that the invasive plant thing is so important.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding them all over the place in the islands. And when I posted a picture of one that had suddenly popped up, people called me and said, but that's growing in my garden. It's not invasive. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's see. Where I think probably here would probably be our first choice again, just begin, we can do it. And it would be, we'd be collaborating with and as far as, would we consider doing that also as remote and
Sure.
in person? Okay. And the handouts and all that stuff, when we get ourselves a speaker. I'd be happy to work on that, on getting us a speaker. And in terms of, and I won't do anything until I've talked with the Conservation Commission, but they may very well have people that they know, because they've actually done pulling stuff out.
One neat handout that, or is that Jeff was saying, the QR codes,
Yeah.
is the state has a website that's got pictures of all the ones in Maine
Pictures.
that are banned or whatever.
And then they have this beautiful pamphlet that says what to plant instead,
Mhm.
you know, and
Oh,
boy,
yeah.
I'd want to be sure that was out there
Mhm,
because it is so full of good information.
mhm.
So, okay,
Yeah, that sounds great.
all righty. I think we have some plans there. That should keep us busy for a while.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just to float it out there, I'm pretty jazzed about this Maine community solar cooperative.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, at some point, it would be great to have them come speak and basically, you know, see if they can sign some people up and save some money.
Yes, yep.
You know, on
I
their
think that
electric bill.
would be a great public
Yeah.
service.
So, you know, not just yet,
Yeah,
but
Right.
I'm gonna reach out to them and just find out if that's, you know, anything
I
that
think they would
they
do,
do. It
sure.
was a piece of cake to sign up.
Wow,
And I,
We like
you know,
that.
I signed up for my mom, but
Yeah.
I just had to supply her Maine Care document,
Mhm.
and they got back to me the next day and say, yep, she qualifies.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I got an email from Central Maine Power about a week ago that said the standard offer electric supply rates will increase by approximately $11 to $12 per month for the average customer starting on January 1st.
And they're dropping the special rate that they have for people with heat pumps. If I got that notice.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
gonna go up. Yeah.
So anyway, that might be top of mind for people. You know, how can you save
Mm,
Yeah.
Right.
money on your electric bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, for people on a fixed income, if you know, your power bill goes up $20, that's a significant, can be, anyway. So, anyway, I'll keep you posted on that, I mean,
Okay, great.
you know,
Well, that would be a great.
see what the availability is before we get
Yeah.
fired up,
Right.
setting up a date or something.
Yeah, can you share information about them
Yeah,
with us? That would be interesting to look into.
yeah,
All right, and then the last new business item is related to, well, there's a couple more. The website for the Energy Committee, just making sure that's fully updated, and the process for providing Rose with approved minutes. I just think we're a little out of date on the minutes. And then I think the website it said that we weren't meeting.
That would need to be updated then, you're right.
Yeah, see, it says the Energy Committee is not currently meeting.
Where is that?
Under meetings.
Oh, duh, all right. All right, we'll ask Rose to fix that.
And then do we want to update the mission with our current charge?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we want to get the fact we're meeting. She's been putting the agenda somewhere. So problem is we've got, the website expands over time. And you end up with things in multiple places. So she
Yeah.
always found someplace to put the agendas, but
Yeah.
that needs to be fixed. So, and probably link to where the actual meeting part is.
Well, I see, if you look at the menu on the
Well-
left, it says
Oh,
Energy Committee meetings. Yeah, those actually, it has the
Right.
meetings.
December 16th, I'm looking right at it,
It
you know, that's
has
the meeting.
agenda, it has the Zoom link. But it looks like we haven't put minutes since April.
So if I could ask that one of you email Rose the PDF of the minutes and she'll get all those put in the right place.
So yeah, I think it's just a matter of. Send her the whole backlog. And then going forward, like now that we have approved minutes, you can.
As soon as they're
You just
approved,
email- yeah,
that
email
night I'll
those.
send them out.
Yeah, and then I will endeavor to send the agenda more in advance. Last week, this whole month, I was just like, whoa, time is moving way too fast, but I think next month I'll be a
Let's hope
little more
so.
ahead.
And when you send that to the group and me or whatever, I asked Rose to put it up. So that's how that gets up. So,
Yeah.
but we will fix this part. So then the committee is meeting, put a charge. The other thing we could do for the January, it's probably too late for the January choir ed, but for the February one, if you want to do a help wanted, or we want you, or
Oh,
if you want to do a little
Sure. Yep.
graphic or something that looking for membership, we could put that in the choir ed too, for that would come out in February. And the sooner we get that stuff, the better, because we'll give it to, Pam can work it in.
Sure.
But so, but.
Yep.
So Pam usually works on the February one between like January 1st and, as I said, the 20th is the absolute.
Right, okay.
Do we just need to provide, like, we would provide a little graphic or just the text and.
Whatever you would like.
She would put it, okay,
So,
whatever. Doesn't have to be so too fancy.
no, Pam may play with it, make it a little fancier or something.
Jackie, do you mind volunteering to draft something?
Sure.
And maybe at our next meeting, we can review it
Sure.
and send it over to
Sure.
Pam?
Sure.
And then hopefully by then we'll also have line of sight on our guest speakers and
Mhm.
and we can get that confirmed to go into the prior to.
So I think it's January 20th, right, is your next meeting?
Oh, that would be a little late then, wouldn't it?
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking, so.
No, we can, I can draft it, send it out.
Yeah, I mean, something like, I know we've talked a little bit about the not meeting through email,
Right.
but if it's just basically, yeah,
This
we
is-
like your
this is-
recruitment ad, that's not something substantive.
Right, I mean,
or
we're
that
not
kind of thing.
making a decision, and I
Right,
understood
yeah.
that that was the real like,
Right,
crux of it.
yeah.
Now, good, seriously, how any committee can do all its work in a meeting is beyond me.
And there's nothing that says that you could have an extra meeting too if you wanted, but it's not worth having an extra meeting to say, yeah, we like your help wanted ad.
Right. Right.
Well, if we're all coming in to read the 855 tome anyway.
That's the type of stuff that we're better off doing it, do our homework and then discuss it in person.
Yes,
When we're writing ordinances and stuff, that's the type of
Right.
stuff we don't want to do through email.
oh,
So,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, well, I think maybe we can get our speakers at least to agree on a date and time.
Yep.
And then the ad might just be very basic, but it would
Yeah.
at least say the location, date and time
Right.
and topic.
Right.
And it'd be good.
And that's really all.
Yeah.
we need.
So I think if we all manage to do that and communicate about what Kurt and Andrew are committing to.
Right.
Prior to the 15th.
So as far as like, I talk to Andrew, then I write a little synopsis of what, and then send it out. That's not like
No,
the wrong thing to do.
No, that's
an okay thing. Okay,
Okay, great.
Okay,
cool.
perfect. All right, that was all of our new business. Are there any additional public
Is there a
Is there a
public out there?
Go
public
back to the- I
attendees?
don't think there is. No, there is
Okay,
not.
No attendees. All right, so our next meeting is the 20th. And again, we are going to read through all the materials around the battery storage project and be prepared to highlight our top 3 priorities
Yep.
for the town ordinance, and we'll discuss that, and you'll invite the other folks.
Jeff, Tom, and Sky. Yeah.
Okay, and for
Sounds good.
deadlines, we,
Yeah, deadlines would be January 15th for the
Yeah,
prior
right.
ad. All right,
all right.
Sounds good.
short meetings.
Stop the recording.